Mono Black combo has gotten a lot better, and this is why. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to be approaching the multiple combo version of Mono Black, where we have Unstoppable Slasher that can connect with our opponent one time with the Bloodletter of Aclazotz in play, and it is an instant kill button. They will automatically lose if that happens. And we have the opposite one, a little bit more expensive. It's actually just like one up pip from each of these, which is kind of funny. So instead of 3 we gotta spend 4, and instead of 4 we gotta spend 5, but one can automatically kill if we get a source of life gain from anywhere or a source of damage because of how Bloodthirsty Conqueror works. So we can talk about these really quick. I'm going to cover the rest of the deck super fast though. So we have Duresses to interact with their hand whenever we want to do the combo. We have Deep-Cavern Bat to fit that role as well. That's primarily their main source. We only keep 3 Duresses instead of 4, like some play, like Ash plays 4 in her version of this build because it is best of 3 in that variation. So we can't afford sometimes to play 4 Duress because if they're bad in a match and we draw it, we just lose and we don't have like a game 2 and 3 to rely on. And then we have 3 cut downs for removal, nowhere to run to take away that hexproof from like Shelter by Ghost and things like that, or just good removal against the kind of creatures we run into the Fling deck, for example, where this card would be very good. And then Anoint with Affliction to fill the same role, and then 4 Go for the Throats to pick up anything large. The non-artifacts is not really super relevant anymore. There was a time where artifact decks were coming around where you couldn't afford to play Go for the Throats all the time, but that time has passed for now. And then we have Unholy Annex, the bread and butter of the deck, if you would. This is the card that makes it all come together. Because of the card draw, Mono Black typically struggles from that, and if you just played the combo and this card didn't exist, you're going to find it a lot harder to figure out how to get to that combo. You're going to have to play some bad like tutor cards or something like that that may be 3 or 4 mana, or Beseech, but then you have to have permanents to sack to that, like Beseech the Mirror. So it's a little bit weird. But with this, we can just go ahead and draw, and it has a built-in win condition on itself. So worst case scenario, we just make a demon, and we try to hit them over the head with that, gain them from there. So this is a kind of fixer for the deck overall. Outside of that, the 2 combos in the deck. We have Unstoppable Slasher. If this makes contact with the player, they lose half their life total rounded up. Rounded up is the important part. That means they'll die no matter what when it comes to Bloodletter of Aclazotz. It says an opponent would lose life during your turn. They lose twice that much life. So half their life lost, that gets doubled to full life, and then they lose the game. Other than that, we have Enduring Tenacity. This is whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Goes very well with a lot of other things we have, but we'll get to that like in the video as we play. But whenever it dies, it becomes an enchantment, so it's no longer a creature. So we get to kind of keep it around. That kind of helps pay for the expensive. Kind of funny, the lower cost cards of the combo both have a condition in which they come back in some form, which is quite funny. And Enduring Tenacity wins the game with Bloodthirsty Conqueror, where this says whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life, which is the opposite of whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So basically, we gain life from, say, we virtue a creature, we kill a creature, we gain 2 life. This will then say, well, you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Well, they lost life, so I'm going to gain that much life. And then they just trigger each other and go back and forth infinitely, and then they win the game. So outside of that, we're just a Mono Black kind of mid-rangey style deck with a combo finish where we want to control the early game. We don't want to go super late in the game because it gets very hard for us to win there. But with that said, we also have 4 of these to also count as demons for the Unholy Annex. And they actually come up clutch against Mono Red today. So that's very cool. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the games, see how they go. And if you all enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. Helps out the channel a ton. Let's go game. Sure, why not? What could ever go wrong with this hand? Not that it's too slow or too awkward. Could never be us. Hi, Mr. Red. I'm surprised you showed up. There's a land hit, which is kind of, at this point, not what we want. We'd like to find more cards. Do something other than make land drops. We have about all the mana that we need. Make it functional and happen. So if we don't answer this for 2 turns, we're just going to die. And I guess it's they answer, sort of. Shock, Burst Lightning, Hired Claw. Oh boy. Well, it means they can't necessarily row that right now. I'm going to take the Hired Claw, I think. Just force them to like burn this down and then have to play higher claw and they can burn something else. Maybe. Just kind of exhaust their burn spells a bit. They're going to use one regardless. They're not going to leave a 1/1 flying lifelinker around. Oh, they don't even commit. Okay. Maybe they're looking for a second Deep-Cavern Bat, which definitely makes sense to me. Cut down. A huge pickup. Another Rhythm Burst Lightning is probably pretty good. Now, what do we do? Do we prioritize the Enduring Tenacity? I think so. Like, put a thing in the way. Obviously, that alone is not going to get it out of the road. Okay. I disdain for this card. It is growing ever more. I'm gonna block here. This is like guaranteed to trade, and that's 2 damage off of me, so that feels good. Then gives us the opportunity to cut down something, but we'll see. Alright, the lands could stop at any point. That'd be sick. I understand you want me to cast this Virtue, but I promise you, I do not want to cast it. We have to hold on to cut down. We have to wait until they like target the Heartfire hero to remove it then, so the trigger's on the stack, so they can't outgrow it. Well, interesting. Land. Well, you should have waited on the land, because like, well, they're gonna hit a monster trade and it won't matter. Oh, never mind. You hit a land. Sure, I will block. Because these do trade. And then we take away their card to give them free value every turn. So. Oh my god. Just a frustrating game. That's all it is. That's all it is. Just frustrating game. Frustrating game. That's all. I can play a Virtue, but I'd just be dead. That's the problem. We'll strike, I assume, on both. I don't know. Maybe they hit a dead card. That'd be cool. Yeah. Block here. Dick. It could have been so much worse. Oh man, I hate it so much, dude. Let's sit there and stare at each other, honestly, at this point. Oh, and they get to grow creatures now. Which, don't worry. It's fine, technically. Yeah. Here. Should I take 4, even though they have burn spells? Well, it's not a permanent thing, so I'm going to take a little bit more damage here to ensure my creature can stay. So I can hold up mana for something. Oh, I guess I'll pass. Or I guess I'll hit you and then pass. This is the other thing, is now we do get to attack. But we are at 5 in our life gain combo deck. Sure. Done. Solve. Huh. We are at 4, and they don't have red in their deck, so Boros Charm's not possible. Or they don't have white in their deck, so Boros Charm's not possible. Bring this up. Okay. You're 6. It's just like, if I find the Bloodletter, the game's just over. Or the Vampire, because these would hit, they'd take damage, and the infinite combo would happen. But we're just got to win the hard way, I guess. Huh. Uh-huh. I could have just done that, but I don't care. It's mono red. Vigilant. Let's hard cast this, I guess. If you're not convinced these lands are worth it, I don't know what else they could have done for you there. Only keeping because we go first. Too expensive if you're on the draw. It's like a 3-drop, you just have to do a lot of things, or you're not presenting enough to kind of interact, like your opponent has to interact with you. But being on the play, you do get to play this a little bit earlier, and then it goes from there. But what is this? Is there a little dude? What that is? A little dude? My dog's ready, bro. It is there, little dude. What is that? Oh, it's that thing. Our favorite gerbil. Another land, not opposed to that right now, because we do have a 4-mana spell in hand. Bristly Bill. Somebody's been watching Ash. Alright. Here's this. Here is my unstoppable slasher. Or Legends VD. He also played a Bristly Bill, kind of like Wombo combo deck. Sure. Makes sense to me. There's a spider on the horizon. Okay, maybe you're just a mono green player. I don't remember any of them playing this. Honestly, typical. No attack here on offering a trade potentially might. I don't think you would leave it up to chance on the fact that you may or may not just like die, but who knows. Here's a Bloodletter. You knew it was coming. I don't know what that means. Typically I get hit with a good game right as I like. It's like right as I get ready to die. I dead? Like, see, they hit me with good game, and then they like keep their creature alive, and they're going through the motions. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that does. That aura is kind of crazy. I mean, I have to take 9. I have to take the 9. Flying Death Touch, although Paul Patch can answer that, so it's kind of like a little bit sketchier, of course. And hit for 2, I can play this again. Could have waited. But like good game. This card's actually sick though. Forgot that this card even existed. A lot of foundation cards have kind of slipped under the radar. But if they give trample, I lose. So okay. Interesting. Gotta block this. That has trample anyway, so there's no real reason to jump it. Wow. I mean, it is a 5/5 death touch, so it does give us a chance, I guess. We just hold. I mean, this is 8 plus 5. Essentially, when you're looking at a trample creature, these thinner taps are now. Yeah, thankfully. There's no like sack loop combo, make your creatures cheaper, play it, sacrifice it, get all the treasures. You're the Nissa, okay. Here. Hopefully, best case scenario, this hits another Nissa. Ooh, it's a Hydra. An elemental. Elemental? That's crazy. Counter on something? That makes sense. Oh boy. You know what? I think if I wait one more turn, I'm dead regardless. No blocks. One. Oops. Huh. And that's going to get doubled to -16. Okay. Wow, what a weird game. I really thought just like they happen to upload mono green videos like kind of pretty similar. Not similar. I mean, they played the Hydra, so you can argue similar. They're trying to break this card, which I've also tried to do. It's just like that's kind of where we're at in today's game right now. But yeah, so I just assumed it was that. No, this card's sick. Put a 1/1 counter on it. If there are 3 more counters on it, sacrifice Sora and you go get more lands. Like, that's so good. Especially with this. That's crazy. That's a crazy card. For first, kind of the same scenario as last time where it's like, just because we're on the play, we'll kind of keep this. I do think our hand's a little less good than last time. So there could be a little bit more of a reason to maul this. This hand's going to be decided whether we draw lands or not. Non-lands, I think. Can draw a couple non-land cards. That'd be great. Unholy Annex might have to be that problem solver, of course, but waiting on our opponent now. Alright, here we are. Finally elected to keep. All good so far. Plains, interesting. Don't know what that means. Ah, mono white control. Everybody's favorite. Alright, strap in, kids. We got a 45-minute game ahead because we hate playing quick games. That's how this feels to me, honestly, but we could obviously Deep-Cavern Bat, maybe look for a Caretaker's talent in their hand, but I think getting an Unholy Annex in to draw kind of for free here. Oh, sick draw. I don't care if you would. You just have to gain life. Whenever an opponent loses life, you would gain that much life. So, realistic. Oh, they also missed a land drop. Okay. Well. Not a demon. Not a demon. Let's just play this, I guess. I like a weird situation we're in, for sure. Could smite it, I guess. If they attack and they don't do anything and I block, it could get smited. But get lost. Okay. Well, it's kind of where we want it anyway. I think we might even look to Deep-Cavern Bat and play an Unstoppable Slasher here. Or do I need to play this Bloodletter? Or do I just make it 6/6? Not using Get Lost on the Unholy Annex. It's a little interesting. But they're like, no, that's my win condition. And I think that's fair. Definitely a fair win condition. Bloodletter. This is where this card is super annoying. Just like mine is, pretty much. But I'm going to remove it. They'll get a card draw regardless. But I'm still going to use my mana. Effectively, I think. Could have killed a token or whatever. They still get a draw. Just enters. But now I drain and gain 4. So now we're a land away from playing this. We just have to find a way. Just find a way to deal damage with this Bloodthirsty and this on the play or in play. Sure. We could replay it, I guess. Sure. Actually, that does it perfectly, right? We just have to stay alive at that point. So I could just go for a Deep-Cavern Bat here. What do we got? All right, we take exile up to 1 target artifact or creature. Okay, so we don't really care about that. We'll take the Get Lost. And then I'll play. Did I honestly just activate these maps? Find a land? Because it is epitome, play this, virtue something, we win the game, right? So it should be activate map here. Interesting. That's 4 looks. We just need 1 more land. That's all we need. Yep. And I assume this is getting flickered, but then it comes back, so then it becomes this like weird game. Okay. Go for the throw with this. Fine. Taking some of the damage away while I can. But it is land, play this, virtue, play the video game aggressively. I could play the Bloodletter now, which will gain me 4 life, which helps bridge this gap a bit. But now the main issue arises, right? Is the fact that this is so good, which makes me want to Deep-Cavern Bat them again. I guess so. 2 lands. Unstoppable Slasher. Sure. A land would be great, game. You tried so hard in the mono right game to make me draw only lands. The land would be sick. I feel like it's gonna be make token here. They do. Sure. Now the Get Lost is super annoying because, like, of course now it gets around our stuff. Like, we can't just win. We'll draw a land now, though. I know how it works. We can force them to use their Get Lost by playing the Bloodletter because they'll definitely use it on that. Now they found a bunch of card draw. What we got? You already used your Emperor this turn. You can't do nothing with that. It's just funny. They like keep highlighting their Emperor like they can use it. I'm gonna remove this. Make your decision a little bit easier if you'd like. There's the land we knew we'd draw. This is actually cheaper. And I get to hold up my Go for the Throat, so I guess I use it. I still gain a life for hitting the Emperor. This, I guess. Let's make it where like the 0 is a little awkward. Okay. I do gain a little life here. And a Duress to follow up. Sick. Sure. So now we need a land. What do we got? Fair enough. It's a little risky to use that one. Obviously, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, you wanna lay down arms that one too, or? Like, nah, I didn't like that at all, actually. And efficient, I guess. The way I should go about this. Okay. Let's Duress. If I could. I'll shut up. I'll stop talking. I'll just shut up. None of us today complain like our opponent can, okay? None of us can. Okay. I wanted all this opportunity. That's what I wanted. But holy moly. That's crazy. The weird part is, it's just like, if we could have got them to commit, we'd be so much happier. But they can't commit if they don't have any cards. You know what I mean? That's crazy. How many lands is that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? About halfway through. I mean, it's actually about on pace, no?
Thank you for your help.
Do we think these are 2 lands? Well, we have like a ton of ways to win this game. We just have to do it right. Look. We just virtue a thing, gain 2 life, and they die. Yeah, sure. Doesn't technically matter. This one. Just didn't want them. The thing we have to watch out for is like them killing their own creature, and then now we have this like awkwardness that we have to deal with, but it's whatever. All right. Well, I don't think any of us are legally allowed to complain anymore, but you know, it is what it is. Well, if the rest is good, the rest is good, you know what I'm saying? But this is kind of bad. If the rest is bad, probably dead. Whatever. After the last game, I don't think I can say anything. I just have to die with grace, I think. And a mulligan. So, the rest is, which we didn't know until now, but the rest is going to be good. Oh, we're dead. Okay. We are dead. I guess I can wait a turn. Yeah, because we know that's going to be their play, and then I could probably barrel a Duress and like have more opportunities to look. Or do I play this and play a Bloodletter, and then they play a Screaming Nemesis, which is tough? I mean, I guess. As much as this hurts, I think I have to. Maybe. I still have to hit it, though. Well, that didn't do anything. Oh, well, we hit it, so that's pretty sick. Got some life gain. And now if they play a Screaming Nemesis because they missed that land drop. Double shock here? Well, your land doesn't allow that, so you can figure that out next time. Man, gamers, aren't we pumped about this land? Don't we love playing that land? Isn't it the best land of all time? This is why I hate that card. Now, I mean, I'm just full throttle here, I think. Sure. One. Sure. Heraldless, maybe? Ooh. Take one. Now Screaming Nemesis is another thing, so I don't necessarily care. Obviously, this cares about that a ton. Here. I'm just playing this. And the game's over regardless, doesn't matter. And 4. Okay. Sick. Somehow we beat red with that hand, but they did also forget how their card worked. But I've actually heard a lot of people in RCQs and things talk about this card and whether they like it or not. It's been like, no, it's nuts, or no, it sucks. It costs me every game. It's a very interesting land to play. There's no Sokazon, that's for sure. Opponent goes first. Well, now we have a lot of hand disruption, so quite the opposite of the hands we've had on the draw. So we'll try. This is whether or not our opponent's going to get underneath us here. Look at it, dude. He's vibing, bro. This little guy, he's chilling. Now we need probably a land. Single land would probably be fine for now. All right, well, we had a chance. Annoying, but like has to pay to re-equip, things like that. Monstrous roll, monstrous rage. I'll take that one. Well, it's actually kind of weird. Maybe it's actually supposed to be this, because this is like a permanent, right? Or not. Wow, it's a permanent. No, it permanently gives +2, so it's a little less than Monstrous Rage the first time around. But like killing this, right? Now it's 3, right? So it's the little weirdness that it has. Deep-Cavern Bat, good. Into kind of an open hand here. We'll see. Let's take a look. Codebreaker should be a card that we can answer, but we'll see. If they attack with just this, do we block? One of the good reasons to take Monstrous Rage out of the equation, I guess, because Monstrous Rage does give it technically one more toughness. I don't necessarily care too much. That's like Arena. Hello. I mean, yeah, right? Like we prevent 3 and a potential fling opportunity with that later. I feel like that's a nothing decision, really. And now we just play like a 2/3 Death Toucher that this hates, right? Like this is going to hate the fact that this happens. Also 2/0 gains haste whenever this creature dies. Create 2/2. Sure. Swing it. I was like, go for it. I will force you to block now though, because I got a really good top deck. Here we go. Now you have to block. If you don't, you lose the video game. Nope. Okay. Very cool. Maybe their hand just had nothing. I mean, it wasn't a land because they didn't play one, but I mean, all right, sick. All right, so here we are. This is our hand. This is what we played. This is how we played. A lot of this inspiration did come from like scouting around, you know, seeing what people were doing, how they were doing it. But it's not too far off from what I would think, and I made some adjustments. The kind of formation shell that this deck list came from was Ash. But I did make some changes to things that I wanted to necessarily like play and go in on Whereas, like, I think playing a nowhere run is huge with the current meta, especially best of one. This is a card in best of three that they don't necessarily have to worry about playing. They can just throw in the sideboard. And same with an Anoint. Just stop, like, for example, the last game and the game before, like, we can see why these cards have value because of the cards that they're playing. But things that I was kind of already sold on that I figured where we needed to be was only playing few amounts of our combos where like everything is kind of a threat and has to be answered and or has to be blocked. And that is like Unstoppable Slasher. Too many of these, they get like weirdly clunky somehow. Like I don't know how that happens, but they do, just because they are 2/3s that will just eat a removal spell. And they keep coming back over and over again. So it's just like good enough to play 3. Because if you have one, typically that one's just going to stay around for a while. But our main win condition in here is just using Bloodletter of Aclazotz with kind of all this. Whether it is just like, hey, I'm going to hit, I'm going to make them lose 4. All right, well, we'll gain a ton. All right, I'm going to hit them, they're going to lose the game or whatever. Or I just play with an Unholy Annex, and then we gain some life, and they lose a lot of life, and then they lose more life. So really, this deck overall is just a Bloodletter of Aclazotz deck that kind of has a lot of synergies across the board overall. But with that as well, we have Enduring Tenacity. This is a card that is kind of like, you don't want to play for this because it's 4 mana. It's a little bit clunky. If you have multiple, it doesn't really do anything on ETB. But it can block, it can die, and then become an enchantment. Then you don't have to worry about it anymore. It can't be Sunfalled or something like that against some of those decks that also play that, or like doesn't struggle from the same thing like Slasher has, where like if it dies and then dies again, it gets like removed because it has a counter or whatnot. But yeah, and then we fall back on the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. This is kind of like the bread and butter wherever you can kind of infinitely win. Your opponent can have a million life. It doesn't really matter. If you have a Tenacity and this in play and you start the chain, they're dead. So, and then the card that keeps it all together, Unholy Annex. This is it. Mono black typically doesn't have card draw. Mono black, this card knows this very, very well. And that's how they lose. They make you lose all your cards. And you both go into top deck mode. And they don't have like this, which they could play this, but the demon's is kind of a hard part to sell there. But yeah, and then the Virtue is a great card, which I didn't even think about this until I saw people playing it in their list, especially Ash, where it's like, oh, if I just have a Bloodthirsty Conqueror in play, and this is an enchantment now because it died the turn before, well, I can just Virtue something and I can start my chain. I don't have to even make contact if they have blockers or whatever. But that said, we win the game. So we won games, is what I wanted to say. But that's all for me today. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch you next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.